Hello everyone, welcome back. So my brother Emmanuel Goldstein wanted me to do a little review on some of the knives that I made. So I chose these three belt knives. These are the ones that I take out with me when I'm hiking and I'm hunting. So they've been holding up really well. First one here is the Kepart. That's 1095 steel. Then we have the patch knife. This is a file that I hand forged. And then we have the little neck knife slash belt knife that's made from a lawnmower blade. So they've been holding up really well, like I said. They're still I should probably strap these again, but they're still pretty sharp. So they're holding their edge really well. We put the sheets aside here. So when I go out into the woods, especially if I'm hunting, I have a lot of stuff on my belt. I have a 45. I have a 45 magazine. I have a Swiss Army knife. Gotta have those tweezers, okay? I have sometimes I have a 22 on the opposite side, you know, and then I have a belt knife. So when I'm carrying this one, the Kepart, that's a pretty long sheath, okay? And I find having all of that stuff on my belt, I can't really maneuver this around to get it into a comfortable position when I'm sitting down. So that's a drawback for a longer knife. And I tend to like smaller knives. But as far as the function and the way it's holding up and the leather sheath, it's awesome. All right, so that's a little review of the Kepart. Now this one is an absolute pleasure to carry. It is so light. I mean, I don't even know. It's just got to be a couple ounces. It's just so light and it's so sharp. But I'm obviously not doing anything drastic with it. I'm not batoning it. I mean, this Kepart full tang, you could baton this. You know, you could put this through its rigors. This is more of a, I don't know, like I got an apple and I'm going to be eating the apple, or I want to cut something, you know, that I just made, you know, cut some rope, you know, that type. I mean, it's a tough blade, obviously, and very sharp, but it's not something I would be bushcrafting with. Okay, patch knife. And then we have our little neck knife slash, you know, belt knife. This is a full tang. You could baton this if you wanted. I mean, you can use this for a ferro rod. All of my knives always have a 90-degree spine. But I tend to carry this one the most. I don't know why. It might be because my son found it. But I tend to carry this the most because it's easy on, easy off the belt. And again, look at the size difference, right? It may not seem like a lot, you know, but I bet you that's close to 1.5 inches. So being on the side, and I could kind of move it around, so I always tend to take this one the most. Now you might ask, well, if you're hunting, have you used them to process game? Well, here's the thing. I use this little trade knife to do all of my field dressing. It's a tiny little knife that was like some reason a reject, and they ground off their name, but it still says USA on it. And there was a jar of these, probably, I don't know, close to 30 years ago. A little jar in the bow store I frequented, and archery store, and I forget, they were just like a couple bucks. It might even have been $1.50. But this is all I use in conjunction with this. An old timer with a belly zipper is what I call it, okay? These are the two things that I use in the woods to field dress deer, hog, whatever, okay? Then I'll bring them home and I'll do the butchering at home, hang them up in a tree, and I'll butcher them out. So I don't use knives in the woods like a big knife like this. I mean, to me, trying to get this, to field dress an animal with, I mean, some guys are great at it, believe me, with a big knife. But for me, that's all I need is this. And I keep this thing hair popping sharp. This little Schrade does all my field dressing with this zipper. And then this has a bone saw in it. So these are the primary tools for dressing out deer, and then these are for pretty much everything else, that you might want to do around camp. I mean, this is a perfect knife for doing almost every camp chore you have. Processing your food, chopping up vegetables. I mean, it's really, Kephart knew what he was doing when he designed this. So I like them all. They're all holding up well. But as far as the one I've been carrying the most, it would be this one. I just like the way it feels. And the advantage of making your own knives is you make them so that they feel good in your hand. So there you go, brother. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully everybody else who watched enjoyed it. Like always, I appreciate all your views, and I appreciate all your comments, and I hope you all are staying safe out there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.